Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Business Lunch here on CNBC-TV18. Now, the G20 meet, the first under India's presidency, is currently underway in Bengaluru, where finance ministers and central bank governors from all of the G20 countries have congregated to discuss a whole host of issues, including, of course, climate change, the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war, and debt growth, as well as inflation concerns in developing economies. Apart from central bankers and finance ministers, Geeta Gopinath, the deputy managing director at the International Monetary Fund, United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, as well as European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde, are also in attendance at the summit. So those are the visuals coming in. But let's actually now go over to Parikshit, who is standing by at the venue of the summit to bring us the latest. Parikshit?
Well, yes, the Prime Minister addressed the inaugural session today, and he called on all the G20 leaders to work towards bringing stability in the global economy and also reigniting faith in global financial institutions and global bodies as well. At the same time, he said that the G20 discussions must be focused on the most vulnerable people, as COVID-19 has had a once-in-a-century shock to the global economy. Having said that, there seems to be a lot of discussion inside, heated discussions inside on the draft communique. The communique, we believe, which is the outcome document of the G20 meeting, has been circulated 9 times already. There is no consensus on it as yet, especially with reference to the text of the Ukraine war and debt restructuring. There seems to be strong differences between countries over the debt issue and also how the Ukraine-Russia war will be contextualized, how it will be condemned in this. Let me also point out that the Russian finance minister and China's finance minister are not attending this meeting. They have their deputies over here. So there still seems to be lack of consensus on how these two issues will be approached in the communique. The G7 wants to strongly condemn the role of Russia, and Russia will not accept that kind of wording. So let's see what happens over the next few hours. And India would like to build consensus on these issues. But clearly, the reform of multilateral development banks, reaching a resolution on debt issues, especially in countries like Sri Lanka, Zambia, also transparency when it comes to debt in emerging and developing economies. These are some of the critical issues that are being discussed inside by finance ministers.
All right, Parikshit, thanks so much for enumerating all the top of the agenda items at the G20 summit there. But remember that Prime Minister Narendra Modi also addressed the summit earlier today and laid down and highlighted the important aspects to be discussed with the summit. Let's listen into what he had to say.
The theme of our G20 presidency also promotes this inclusive vision. One Earth, one family, one future. Excellencies, even as the world population has crossed 8 billion, progress on sustainable development goals seems to be slowing down. We need to collectively work to strengthen multilateral development banks for meeting global challenges like climate change and high debt levels.
All right, that is the Prime Minister. But with that, we have to get into a short break on the show. When we